people, and welcome back to Wine Chat. My name is Emma and I'm a certified sommelier with a mission to spread wine knowledge and to help you drink better. It is time for part 2 of our New Zealand wine series. Although Sauvignon Blanc is the major white grape, or grape of any colour for that matter, there is also a wide range of other white wines to discover in New Zealand that are not Sauvignon Blanc. So grab a glass, sit back and relax, and let's chat about the other white wines of New Zealand. So let's start with one of the world's most popular grapes, Chardonnay, and that is actually what I am drinking here this evening. So the wine that I'm drinking is the 2018 Able Chardonnay, and this comes from Nelson, so right at the top of the South Island. This is delicious, beautiful and fresh, kind of grapefruit aromas, white stone fruit, a little bit of a flinty minerality, and this lovely kind of creamy lacticness on the end as well. Very nice. Chardonnay is grown in almost every single wine region in New Zealand, and it makes up approximately 6% of all of New Zealand's wine production. It has a total of 3,222 hectares planted, with the majority of the plantings being in Marlborough, Hawke's Bay and Gisborne. Because it is planted in a wide range of regions, Chardonnay is made in a wide range of styles. Generally, in regions with a warmer climate, the Chardonnays will have a medium to fuller body, they'll be quite round on the palate, they'll have rich flavours and a soft acidity. The regions with cooler climates will make Chardonnays with a light to medium body, fresh acidity, minerality, and vibrant citrus and savoury aromas. In Marlborough, which is the home of Sauvignon Blanc, the Chardonnay that comes from here is also a little bit zesty. Usually it will have a vibrant acidity with aromas of grapefruit, nectarine, other citrus flavours, and producers can choose whether or not to use any oak in the process. In Hawke's Bay, which is a warmer region on the North Island, Chardonnay has over 1,000 hectares planted. Hawke's Bay has the driest climate on the North Island and a diverse range of altitudes and soils. Everything from grey wacky gravel to heavy silt to sandy loam. The Chardonnays from here tend to be very concentrated, medium to full bodied, with aromas of peach, grapefruit and citrus. Gisborne is another big region for Chardonnay in New Zealand, with over 600 hectares planted. As a region, it's slightly cooler than the others on the North Island, but it is the first place in the world to see the sun rise every day. Because it is cooler, many red grapes do struggle to ripen here, so producers tend to overwhelmingly favour white grapes, and Chardonnay is by far the most popular. Chardonnays from here tend to be rounded with ripe citrus and tropical flavours. Generally, Chardonnays from here are made for early consumption, but there are a couple of producers who are making some complex and concentrated Chardonnays that will age for years and years to come. Aside from these three regions, there is also excellent Chardonnay being made in both Central Otago and Canterbury, so keep your eyes peeled for these. But New Zealand's most famous Chardonnay doesn't even come from any of the regions that I've mentioned so far. It actually comes from Cubano in Auckland, which is in the North Island. The winery in question is Cubano River, and the Brakovich family who run the Cubano River estate make world-class, internationally recognised Chardonnays. They are recognised globally as the benchmark for non-Burgundy Chardonnay. The wines do tend to have quite a Burgundian elegance to them, and when they've been served to people in the French wine trade in the past, they have been mistaken for wines such as Coton Champagné or Meursault, which, if you don't know, are some of the top Chardonnays in the world. The second grape is one that you're probably more familiar with, coming from the vineyards of Alsace or in Italy, where it's called Pinot Grigio. But in New Zealand, Pinot Gris really starts to come into its own. I remember being back in New Zealand and I would honestly drink New Zealand Pinot Gris all the time. It's super delicious, made in a wide range of styles, and there's a massive demand for it in both the restaurant scene and in the bottle shops as well. And that's something that I still don't quite understand about the UK market, how people over here seem to just really shy away from Pinot Gris unless it's a kind of really light and watery Pinot Grigio style, but hopefully that's something we can change. There's over 2,500 hectares of Pinot Gris planted in New Zealand, and it makes up 5% of New Zealand's total wine production. Like Chardonnay, it is planted in a wide range of regions, and this is why it's made into such a diverse range of styles. Typically, a New Zealand Pinot Gris is more similar to an Alsace style of Pinot Gris rather than an Italian style of Pinot Grigio. Oftentimes the wines will have a touch of residual sugar left into them, just to give them a little bit more of a fuller mouthfeel. Overall, the warmer regions in the North Island will produce styles that are more ripe and full-bodied with an oily mouthfeel, whereabouts in the South Island the styles seem to be more kind of aromatic with a great structure. A majority of the plantings of Pinot Gris are based in Marlborough, where it has a focus on the pristine, pure flavors, and the wines often will have aromas of red apple skin, cinnamon, and white peach. Hawke's Bay in the North Island has the second largest plantings of Pinot Gris, with over 500 hectares planted. The wines are rich, ripe, and powerful and complex, but are also made in a diverse range of styles. North Canterbury in the South Island has a much smaller amount of plantings with just over 200 hectares, but here it really is quality over quantity. Pinot Gris from North Canterbury are renowned for their aromatic intensity and concentration, with aromas of stone fruit, pear, florals, and ginger spice. I personally love the Pinot Gris that you can get from Pegasus Bay, which comes from Waipara Valley in North Canterbury. Think orange marmalade, toasted almonds, figs, a ginger spice, and a crisp acidity. It does really well in Central Otago, where it is the second most planted grape behind Pinot Noir. And make sure you keep an eye out for any Pinot Gris from Waiheke Island in Auckland. A lot of the producers there are producing some incredible examples. They might be a little bit harder to get here on the UK market, but if you're in New Zealand, you should definitely check them out. Coming in at a tiny yet delicious 1% of all of New Zealand's plantings is Riesling. Now this is a grape that's actually been in New Zealand since the 1800s, but it's only been in the last few years when it has risen to be the 4th most planted white grape. It is predominantly grown in the cooler South Island, but there are just a small sprinkle of plantings based around the North Island. It grows best in the South Island thanks to the cool, long, dry and sunny autumns. It is made in a range of styles, from the lusciously sweet dessert wine to the absolutely crisp and bone-dry everyday drinking Rieslings. Marlborough, of course, has the largest percentage of plantings of Riesling, and here it's usually made in either a dry or an off-dry style. Off-dry meaning just a little bit sweet. Here, the Rieslings are usually super crisp and with bright citrus aromas. North Canterbury has the second largest plantings of Riesling with almost 200 hectares, and here the wines are crisp and flinty with green apple and citrus aromas. But for me, it's Central Otago where Riesling really stands out. Now here, it's a little bit of the underdog. It is the 4th most planted grape variety, and it only has about 64 hectares planted. But the cool extended growing season and stony soils makes a wine that is super pristine with heightened aromatics and citrus fruit aromas. There are a few other white grapes that do incredibly well in New Zealand, but they're planted in such tiny amounts that when you see them, you really should grab them to try them. I am talking about Albarino, Gewürztraminer, Gruner Veltliner, and Viognier. New Zealand really is such a versatile place, and this range of white wines just shows that almost anything can be done with wines in New Zealand. That is all from me tonight. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite New Zealand white wine to try? And if you haven't tried anything aside from Sauvignon Blanc, let me know what New Zealand white wine you're most excited about trying. For me, my favorite New Zealand white wine would probably have to be the Timata Viognier from Hawke's Bay or the Milton Viognier from Gisborne. They are just, for me, so good and can rival the best Viogniers from Rhone Valley. Make sure you are subscribed to keep up with all the wine education from me here at Wine Chat. And I will see you next week for part 3 of our New Zealand series, where we're going to look at some New Zealand red wine. But until next time, remember, drink better, be better.